plant a seed into the ground, the root must grow, right? But it's not going to grow properly if you didn't plan and plant it properly. So what we see a lot of times across the country is a lot of our colleagues and students that identify with different culturally based identity groups feeling discouraged to attend some culturally based programs on our campuses because of the misrepresentation it might have. Right? As we know from racial identity theory, a lot of our students are coming to our campus to find a place where they feel mattered, find a place where they can be more educated about their different cultures and other cultures, and find the spaces to embrace them. Now, when we think about our culturally based programming, are we doing them justice most of the times, or are we not? Sometimes we have to take a step back and think about that. Well, maybe. Unfortunately, this is some stuff that we see across our campuses, right? They say, oh, it's Hispanic Heritage Month, let's just have taco night, right? Or let's just hire a group of people to put on some costumes and call that, you know, this XYZ cultural night. Is that appropriate? No, our students are saying we are more than just a show and food.
So what we see on our college campuses and what our students are telling us is that they are a diverse group in many ways, and what we need to do is stop stereotyping these students and recognize their multiple identities. Unfortunately, what we see now is instances where multiculturalism, it becomes a shallow representation of culture that looks a little bit like fashion shows and theme party nights.
When we're thinking of this type of cultural programming, we have to think of what all parties need to be involved. I personally think you need to have those who identify within the groups we're trying to serve be a part of the actual planning and implementation. Faculty, staff, students, as well as some community members to be actually a part of the team of the identities, or at least have knowledge and expertise on the identities, a part of the planning and actual implementation. For example, at UT Arlington, we have a student cohort who does all of the planning and actually has someone, a professional student affairs member who identifies within that community, advising them, and have a faculty member that's an expert or identifies within the community as well. They're the sole members contributing to the contributions.
So there are very few college campuses that have opportunities that actually support spaces for men and women of color, students and faculty and staff members, where they feel like they can come, belong, and where they can feel comfortable. In addition to that, they don't have opportunities to share their world with the rest of the campus community. And we found wonderful campuses across the world who are still doing these things today. So, by building upon community involvement and including different identity groups, it can help with recruitment, retention, and student success. Students and staff members would like to see just more than their fellow peers just on a brochure for recruitment.
Yeah, so it's easy to say this, but we need to strategically plan this, right? So I wanted to give a best practice that UT Arlington uses in doing this. So we have the team of people that I mentioned earlier, thinking, one, how to celebrate the different cultures and the different identity groups. Two, educating others on a pertinent issue or trend within that identity group. And three, ways to do programming that helps share the identity group and have people learn with no food involved in the planning process.
An example of celebrating a specific culture and identity group is the Michigan State University Powwow of Love. The Powwow of Love is a cultural celebration that's put on by that specific community that promotes their community as well as it shares their world with other people. In addition, there are wonderful opportunities for you to learn about their culture, for you to learn what the crafts mean and what that tradition means to their specific community.
For a program initiative on educating others about a pertinent issue or trend, without involving food or dance. So let's say, for example, this can go from many different identities. But let's say, for example, Latino community, Hispanic community, and talking about undocumented students in higher education. That could be a pertinent issue or trend within the community. Having something like a film screening that's focused around that topic, and then having the implementation team that put this on, create that space and facilitate the dialogue and discussion surrounding the topic so others are learning about what's going on.
An example of sharing our identity to gain appreciation to a specific identity group is the picture that you see right now. This represents an organization performing a traditional Filipino dance called tinagling. The performance is commonly performed on special occasions and is a celebration of Filipino pride and culture. So, when we think about student growth, student development, and student empowerment, it is key to cultural development of students. These are two student-led initiatives to engage students in critical thinking and cultural exploration. So, as a culture, we say that we are more. We are more than your traditional classic step show. We are more than your traditional salsa night.
More than that, though.
We are, literally more than that. We are more than just your one-night inquisitive question about what it is we do as a culture, our genealogy, and our expression of self.
Now, on many college campuses, we hear things of Hispanic Heritage Month, Black History Month, things of that nature, which is all great. But there are some other invisible, what I call invisible identities that we don't cater to. One being our multiracial folks on campus, our multiracial students, our multiracial faculty and staff, right? So we don't really see this. And are we really seeing it being incorporated into the Hispanic Heritage Month and talking about the Afro-Cuban, Afro, Latino, whatever, intersections of the identities. So, but there are some leading schools in the nation that actually have a mixed folks week and things of that nature. We want to encourage you to consider that when you're doing programming, not to just focus on one identity, but the mixed intersectionality of identities, such as the mixed community.
So despite many initiatives and the campus reinvestment and cultural awareness, students and faculty and staff members of color still feel like outcasts on their own campus communities. And as professionals, what are we doing to address the current cultural campus climate? Can we do more? Yes, we can do more. As professionals, we need to speak out and we need to seek out those opportunities to where we can learn more about other cultures. Culture Fest is one example of how we as professionals can engage while we're at the conference and learning about more cultures. So during our time together, we started talking a little bit about planting seeds. So my question to you tonight is, what will you do to seek out and create new opportunities for culturally engagement on your campus that does not involve food and dance? What will you do to inspire others around you to think about culture in a different way? What will you do to showcase and highlight your talent and culture? What will you do to show people that we're more than just entertainment? Thank you.